Hi guys, Bobby Gass here. Today I was out with Darren the Record Hound. He brought me old records that I had bought off of Patrick's auctions. I guess the last 4, 5, 6 auctions he's had. He sends them to Darren, who's in St. Catharines, and he drives them up to me. And the reason he does that, because I think it costs 3 times more money to send to me than it does to Darren. Anyhow, it's a lot of records. Oh, 3 boxes full. We'll get to them in a second. First off, Darren showed up. We chatted for a while, and he was talking about bringing his Humming Guru and cleaning some of the 45s that I've used to spin clean on it or whatever, right? He wants to tape a lot of the some of the music I have. These albums here that I bought, he actually ripped 2 or 3 of them, I believe, right? One of them, Irma Thomas, that he was playing in the car when we were driving. A fantastic album. Anyhow, but so I took him to this flea market I'd never been to before, and there was 240 vendors, and I figured there had to be somebody selling records there. There wasn't. So he went down to a thrift store, Salvation Army, to check out the records they had there. And I stayed and drank a couple of coffees, and then I went down to meet him. But when we were down there at the thrift store, you know, I had to look through the records, a few of them, and anyhow, I picked up a record. I had this before, right? 20 Years of Rock and Roll, Dick Clark. It's on the... What's the name of it? Oh, yeah. Avenue of the Americas label, right? Should clean up pretty good. And I also bought 2 books. I got this... See, there's Salvation Army thrift store. John Lennon's The Lives of John Lennon. I like the picture. I don't have any Beatle books. I figured I better have one. It's got pictures in it too, so I can look at them. You know, it's got a whole bunch of pictures there. I don't know, 4 or 5 pages of pictures. And I also picked up another book, Thomas Harris, Hannibal. This is a first edition. I only get, you know, I only buy first editions, you know, nowadays. Well, I would get a second edition or something like that if it's a very, very old book, right? I used to have a first edition hardcover book collection that I had to sell when I run out of money, and I needed some once upon a time. And if I had that, Christ, that was 45 years ago I sold. If I had those books now, I'd be a millionaire. But anyhow, this Robert Harris, you know, he wrote Silence of the Lambs, right? And Hannibal, right? That, I mean, Silence of the Lambs, that was a huge hit movie, right? And I loved it too, actually. And it won what? All the best, the top 5 Academy Awards, Best Picture and all that, Best Actor, you know, all of that crap. And anyhow, how, like, I had that book, the Silence of the Lambs, and why I bought it is that, you know, I didn't know Thomas Harris, right, as an author, right, and I read an article in some magazine someplace about the movie Silence of the Lambs that they were starting to make, and it mentioned all the stars that were in it and the plot and how good the director was and this and that, and I used to collect first editions of books that become famous movies, like Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. I had Steinbeck's his first book, A Cup of Gold. Uh, I used to buy books, like that. But anyhow, I figured I'd buy this book on spec, right? And I was looking in the papers and seeing this woman in the trades that was selling. She had a copy of of the book. So I phoned her up. She said, "Come on down and buy it." And I went to her. And she had a mansion. Well, not a mansion. It was a Victorian household down in High Park area. Huge, like, oh, I don't know. It was a huge old house, anyhow. And in the basement, it was all full of books. And she used to read. She told me she used to read 7 or 8 books a week, and I'm talking thick books, right? And novels, right? And so she had a Silence of the Lambs there, and I says, it said $10 in the paper, right? Plus she had a ton of other books she was selling for $5, $10, $50, $100 or whatever, right? But anyhow, so I bought it off her, and she says, "Did you read his other book about Hannibal?" And I says, "Well, no. What's that called?" She says, "The Red Dragon." And I says, "Well, no, I haven't read it." She says, "That's real good." So I says, well, how much is that?" She says, "Well, that's 15. That's an earlier book." And I says, "Well, oh, okay, I'll take that too." So she's going, and she brings back that and Black Sunday, which was his first book. She says, it's about a football game. You're a guy and an assassin. She says, "See now, if you're going to, read Harris, and may also read the first one too." She says, "I'll give you this one too for $15. So it was $40 for the 3 books, and I bought them. But they're all worth a fortune now. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? Black Sunday, maybe 1,000, 500 to 1,000, anyhow. They were all pristine, right? Anyhow, let's get to the records. I'm gonna need a knife for this. Yeah, books. I love them. I was a bookophile. I don't know what you call them kind of people. All right, let's go here. Maybe I should have cut this tape off of these things before, but I did it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh. I don't know. Leo Kotoki. Why did I get this? This might have been I don't know. There was one time I bought, I think it was 6 albums. He was selling a whole bunch of them, Patrick, right? And there was one album that I wanted on it by Savoy Brown, Looking In, I think it was called. My favorite Savoy Brown album. And I was buying that pile no matter what I was going up to $35 for it anyhow, just wanting that one record. And I didn't know hardly any of the other records in it. I think I got the pile for, I don't know, maybe $15 or something like that. I couldn't believe it. Anyhow, this might be one of the records off of that. Guy's got a guitar, so I like guitars, so I'm okay there. Next up here is Gentle Giant, Free Hand. There's so many records here, I'm not going to take them out. Well, take too many of them out anyhow. I paid $10 for this. And oh, here's Johnny Preston. Come rock with me. What label would this be on? Oh, special kind of label. Demand Service compilation. Oh, here's a good one here. The Chambers Brothers. I could take them out of the shiny plastic, but I got so many records here that some album will be a real old vault on the vault label. Rock and roll here. UFO Mechanic. That's on a chrysalis. Yeah, let's move some of this stuff. We need to make some room here. Hey, come on. I'm not prepared. Well, Super Bowl is coming on a little later on, 12 hours or so. Here's the best of the Blues Brothers. No, the Blues Brothers are not the Down Charles Blues Band. The Blues Brothers are copies of the Down Charles Blues Band. Some of you know that. Poco. Legend. Every time I saw this album in the wild, it's always really, really dirty and grungy. Some guys take a rubber, a pink rubber, school rubber for rubbing out pencil marks, and use that to clean up the white albums, and it works great. Try to find one of those kind of erasers, though, eh? Poco. Oh, here's a fantastic one here. I don't know what I paid for this. The Jackie Wilson Story. And that's a blue tape one, so this will be in fantastic shape. Patrick bought a collection of albums, and the guy had blue tape on, all of them maybe, I don't know. And they are in fantastic shape, right? Alright, let's open up the second box. Yeah, after we struck out going looking for records at the flea market and the Salvation Army thrift shop, I mean, I bought the 2 books and the 1 album. Poor Hound was there for an hour at least looking, and all he got was 1 CD. I forget the name of it. And then we went out to dinner. Fancy joint. I bought, of course, you know. I also give Darren a big bag of pot. It's legal here in Canada, guys. Oh, boy. Alright, what do we got here? Oh. Promo copy, Chris Oldham. Was the lead singer for 5 albums. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th album of Savoy Brown. And he is, you know, to me, one of England's top blues singers. His voice, right? That's on the Blue London. You know, it's funny. to me, he's a blues singer, but I had two other albums by Chris Shilden, and I really didn't like it because it was kind of pop music. But his first album, I don't know if this is it or not, his first album on his own was a lot of blues tunes. I think I'd like to get that, right? I don't know. Let's see what's on this. Let me see if it is Nowhere Road, One October Day, Chink of Sanity, Crying in the Road, Mama Don't You Talk So Loud, Standing in the Corner, In the Wood, Wake Up, Negrander, Street Sounds, Time Will Tell, Pick Up My Dogs and Gone. No, that don't sound like blues music to me. Well, I'll check it out. Oh yeah. Here's, an incredible band, incredible album. 50,000 Miles Beneath My Brains on this. Yeah, this is a pulled out. What an album, man. Oh, it's got the inner too, and that's on the Duran London label. I don't think that's an original label. Not the. Oh no, the copy I had of this was an English first pressed. I remember when I brought it up to the counter to pay for it. I don't look at prices on records most of the time, right? I just grab them, bring them up there, and if one's too expensive, anyhow. When I brought this one up to I had 4 or 5 records, and he's pricing them, and I says to the guy, "Oh, Jesus, which is the one that was $35?" He says, "The 10 years after one." It's $35. I know I could get it for maybe $10, right? In another store. And he says, "Well, it is a British first press, right?" And I says, "No." I said, "No, I don't want it." So I took maybe 5 or 6 steps, after I paid for the other albums, and then I turned around and I went back and I said, "No, you better give it to me. British first press," I said. And then what did I do? I sold the thing not that long after because I was moving and I needed money to pay for the movers. Oh yeah. Look at this puppy. What did I pay? $15 for it. Black Sabbath. We sold our soul for rock and roll. My favorite Black Sabbath is the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath. This is a double album, by the way. And the first 4 or 5 albums of Black Sabbath to me are the best. And this here has all the hits off of them. Sweet Leaf, Fairies Wear Boots, all the great songs off it. But if you tried to buy them first 4 or 5 albums, it'd cost you an arm and a leg. If this is the album to get if you're a Black Sabbath fan and you don't want to spend, $300 or $400 buying their first bunch of records. Well, those are OGs I'm talking about. We sold our soul for rock and roll. Black Sabbath. Man, when I seen them first time, 71, they give me goosebumps on my arm. And the hair in the back of my neck, sort of stood up. It was something else. Ship Ahoy, the OJs. I like the ship on the back. When I was a kid, I used to draw and do some oil painting, and I drew and painted a number of ships, actually. What's that on? The Greeny Warner Brothers. That means it's OG to me. Now here was some. I wasn't certain. Here's a promo of this band called The Inmates. And Darren, I was listening to it. I think he might have ripped some of it too. And it's pop music, sort of pop. He was telling me, right? Red Polydor. I was just curious because they look like they might be a rock and roll band. You know, heavy rock and roll. Anyhow, I was talking about that Chris Yolden with Savoy Brown, and there was that bunch of albums that he put all together, 5 or 6 of them, and this one here was in them, and this is the one that I wanted really bad. What did I pay for them? Okay, $12. I paid for the 6 albums. I paid $12. 5 or 6 albums, and I got this one that I would have paid a fortune for. Oh boy! If you don't know this album here, boy, oh boy! Oh, well, you look at the focus is gone out of it, eh? There we are, refocused again. Next up here is Jerry Rafferty, City to City. This would have been one of the 5 or 6 albums that were in there. Right? Here's the best Isaac Hayes album going. Hot Buttered Soul. Walk On By. You know, wow. What a freaking tune. Walk On By. Yeah. Hot Buttered Soul. What a fantastic album. We used to play it a lot. It's on the Enterprise, eh? I don't think that was the original label. I ain't sure. Anyhow, don't matter. Fantastic album. Also here, Mountain, Leslie West and Felis Pappalardi. I seen these guys in 1970, and the gig that I seen them on was the Train Festival. They made a movie about it called Festival Express, and I had backstage passes, a pair of them, so I could walk in and out of the exhibition stadium to watch. And they had everybody was whining about paying the $12 for the 2-day concert, and the hippies, they weren't going to pay. Music's supposed to be free, all of that kind of stuff. And so they had a free concert about a half a mile outside of the stadium, the exhibition grounds at Coronation Park. And Mountain had just played the gig, and in the afternoon at the exhibition stadium, and they were going to go down to Coronation Park and do a free concert down there for the people that weren't paying. And when I found out about that, Jesus, the amount was great. I'm going to go down to the Coronation Park, I figure, and watch them down there too. So I leave the stadium and I'm walking towards the park, and I hear Mountain playing, right? And as I'm walking, I finally get to the park. You know, it's like a 5-minute walk or something like that. And as I get to the park, I just start to walk in, and all of a sudden there's a loud explosion, a big bang, a big puff of smoke on the stage. Leslie West blew up the speakers. End of concert. I loved it. Turned around and went back to the gig. Mountain, eh? Leslie West and Felis Pappalardi. Here's one here. What the hell? Oh yeah, Ian Hunter. All-American Alien Boy, Ian Hunter. This might have been part of that 6 album thing. What's that on? Oh, Red Columbia. How long's this been going? 24 minutes. Holy shit. And the last box. Oh. Yeah, at that dinner place, Darren had chicken fettuccine, and I had a chicken breast thing, eh? I mean, I had gone there because I wanted to get these burgers that they had. I seen them on a menu in there before. They were expensive burgers, like a $25 burger, $30 burger. I wanted to treat them to one of them, but they don't serve them in the dinner hour. We never got to this place till, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 5:30. And they don't serve the burgers till 4 o'clock. They only serve them up to 4. So I asked the waitress, I says, listen, can you go and ask the chef? We're here for the burgers, actually, right? You know, I'm looking at the menu. It's all entries and real dinners, salmon and, you know, lobster and crap like that, right? And I wanted the good burger. And she says, well, I can go ask the chef. So she's gone for a couple of minutes, and she comes back, and she says, no, the chef can't do it. He has not prepared, and you know, he's doing the entry. You know, he can't do it. And I go, oh, okay. So I says, I says, well, let us look over the menu a little longer. Come back in a couple of more minutes, and she did. The chicken was overdone, I thought. Everything else was good about it. Anyhow, Christ, I've been 20 minutes without a cigarette. It's driving me crazy here. Yeah, I'm a smoker. A huffer and a puffer. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I don't know. The abstracts. Why did I buy this? I don't know. It looked interesting, I guess, right? That's the Pompeii label. I like that color green, right? I mean, for records, anytime I see it, I think of Warner Brothers, and those green Warner Brothers, to me, sound pretty good. That'll be interesting to listen to, right? Next up here is Neil Young's Live Rust. I seen Neil Young first time in '65 when he was with the Minor Birds down in Yorkville Village. He was, I knew a go-go dancer down there, so I was down there a lot. Oh, here's one. The History of Solomon Burke. You know, he was with the Impressions first off, I believe. Yeah, what a voice Solomon Burke had, eh? What label's that on? Well, there we are there. I can't read it. Good old Solomon Burke. What a voice. Oh. Harvest, Neil Young. This must have been part of the other, the fucking album itself is shot, the cover and all of that. But the album, as I remember Patrick saying, the album itself is in pretty damn great shape, eh? This was a giveaway. Here's one I had to get back into the collection. I paid 15 for it. Dr. Sardonicus, Spirit. I love Spirit. I remember when I seen them in 72, first time. Was it 72? Yeah, 72 first time. I couldn't believe how good Randy California was. That's on a Yellow Epic. Booker T and the MGs, greatest hits. Well, this will have all their greatest hits on it, won't it? What's that? Oh. What the hell was the name of that drummer? I always forget his name. Yeah, that's on the Stax. Love Stax label. Americana band. Oh, look at this. Oh, boy. This was one I wanted really bad. I think I paid 30 or 35 for this. Time Is on My Side. Irma Thomas. What a voice. Darren had ripped this and he was playing it in the car, you know, when we were driving around, eh? What label was this? Kent Records. Let's take a look at the Kent. It's in great shape too, eh? This is a repress, I believe. Yeah. I can't get that shine out of there. That's a Kent label there. What an album this is. If you don't know Irma Thomas, well, you know the Rolling Stones? One of their big hits, Time Was on My Side. She wrote it and did it first. And the Stones pretty much copied her version note for note. And also, I grabbed Mary Wells. Love Mary Wells. What label's this on? Allegiance. A comp. Another great voice, Mary Wells. She made Motown, you know. Berry Gordy, I think, signed her first. I remember Diana Ross talking about the first time that her and the girls went into Supremes, went into see Berry Gordy and Motown Records the first couple of times, and they're teenagers, kids, right? And they seen Mary Wells, and they just couldn't believe, oh my God, where Mary Wells is, like it was a god walking amongst them. Oh boy, another great one I got here. Wow. I wonder what oh, this is a Blue Label one from that, that construction, eh? Hank Williams' 24 Greatest Hits. He only wrote like 29 of them or something, right? There's Hank. I'm a huge Hank fan. He's my favorite country and western singer by far. I mean, he was early rock and roll, Hank Williams, man. This was a giveaway to me by Patrick. I'm pretty sure he was going to sell it, and he said, oh, it's a blue letter one to it. He was going to sell it, and then I had come out, he made a comment or something, and he says, seeing how Bobby Gass is, I'm not going to sell it, I'm going to give it to him. You know, I'm a James Brown, you know, I got a lot of history with James. Sat in his limo, walked and talked with the man, had my arm around him. What label's this on? Polydor, red Polydor. Yeah, actually, the Jim, the Record Collector News, or whatever that magazine is. You know, I've told the story, more than once on YouTube about that James Brown concert I went to and all of that in 64. No, 66 it was. I was 17 years old. And he wanted me to write the story up so he can put it in his in his newspaper, right? Shit, one guy, what the hell is his name? He was going to put that story in a comic with vinyl. Andy Borders, the vinyl community comic book. It got blown away. He actually did it, and it was all sitting in a print shop, the story and the comic and all of that, waiting to get printed up as a comic. And a tornado come. This was in Ohio. A tornado come. It was that year that there was a whole bunch of tornadoes and blew the building and all his artwork away and stuff like that. And the guy was so disappointed and distressed that he stopped. He stopped doing it. And then he got into something happened to his back and he was laid up. Oh, it's a sad story for Andy Borders. And the last one I got here is Ernest Tubb's greatest hits. Country and Western guy, Ernest Tubb. Deep voice. Walking the floor over you. Yeah, that's probably his, thanks a lot. That's probably his most famous song, Walking the Floor Over You. Oh, Waltz Across Texas, that was big time too, eh? Mr. Jukebox, I always liked that one. Anyhow, that's all of them, guys. How long? 37 minutes. Boy, oh boy. People are going to be cutting out about after 5 or 6 minutes. Anyhow, there you go, guys. My latest finds.